Thank you so much once more to be assembled together here to come and learn from each other as we always do every Wednesdays. My name is Mazwe Majola. I'm from the Worldwide Institute of Leadership and Development. What a joy, what a pleasure to be with you again tonight. As you know that we are starting really our feast, our leadership feast and our leadership festival, because it's starting now as we start. It will continue tomorrow, the whole day tomorrow, and the whole day on Friday. So it's a feast, and I'm so looking forward to see all of you, hopefully all of you physically, obviously those who will not be able to do it physically, virtually as well. So tonight we are discussing a very important topic, ladies and gentlemen, women in STEM. Obviously STEM, as you know, that it stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. How are we doing in that area? Any challenges, any dynamics, any opportunities? More especially women in terms of their participation and their elevation. So we'll be doing that tonight, and I don't want to waste any time because we've got a very powerful lineup. But I think it will be important to welcome our regulars and our members. I see men and women I respect and admire a lot, because I've learned so much for these colleagues of mine. We meet every Wednesdays, they come, we share knowledge, and thank you so much. As you know that you really, we have learned together, we have grown together in this platform since we started. And a special welcome to those who are joining us for the first time. Welcome, and please do feel at home. This is a safe space. It's a community of leaders, and then you are so welcome to participate. Don't be shy and don't be diffident. Don't hold back. Don't think or say it's your first time. We want to hear from others. We would like to hear from you as well, because there is a very good reason why you've joined us tonight, is to learn from you. Thank you. So we've got wonderful speakers tonight, my leaders, my great sisters. We've got Dr. Avela Majavu. Obviously, she's an academic and a scientist, and we're so looking forward to learn from this leader, this sister of mine, this intellectual and this academic. And we've got my sister, Dr. Zikhona Tywabi-Ngeva. Also, she's a scientist and an academic from the Nelson Mandela University. We are looking forward to learn from these two sisters and from these two scholars, and I wouldn't like to waste any time, but I would like to invite them to address us now. We'll start with Dr. Avela Majavu. She will address us, and then she will be followed by Dr. Zikhona, and then obviously we will engage them, and then we will engage each other after their address. And over to you, my sister, over to you, Dr. Majavu. Thank you so much for availing yourself in your busy schedule. I'm really honored and grateful that you made it. Over to you, sis. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Prof, and for allowing me to be here today. It is a great honor and a privilege for me. I really thank you so much. I think how I'm going to unpack my stuff, I want to start with how do we reach out and recruit the girl child. That girl child, how do we promote and also retain either women in STEM? So my sister Zikhona will dwell more on the other aspect of the opportunities as well. So we just divided into two. That I just wanted to give a little background where we're lacking. For example, our underrepresented in South Africa. So where does this thing coming from? So it coming from where in the olden days, you know that women used to do the household things where there will be only men, or most of the men will be in the school doing all other activities.
Dr. Avela, excuse me, I don't know your audio. I don't know if it's possible to fix it, but it's breaking there, and we definitely want to hear you. Yeah, try it again, my sister, but you can continue. Thank you.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but I think your network is a bit problematic somehow.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, maybe you need to switch off your video a bit. I'm not sure if that's going to work.
Go ahead, Doc. Majavu, let's hear how it sounds now. Dr. Avela, are you still with us? We definitely can't hear Dr. Avela anymore now. Unfortunately or fortunately, we are recording the session. As you know, that we've got the YouTube, so everything is recorded, and probably, but I can see that she's disappeared. I'm sure she will come back. Probably let's take you, Dr. Zikhona. I'm sorry about that. Obviously, you are still, you know, I know as a speaker, when you think that you are following someone, and all of a sudden you have to come earlier than that. But as a soldier, I'm sure and I know that you are ready. Let's take Dr. Zikhona, then we'll go back to Dr. Avela.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof, for that wonderful introduction. And thank you so much for this opportunity as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to share my screen because I've made some pointers that I wanted to speak to. But another thing is, I'm not sure if my talk is going to make a lot of sense because Dr. Avela was going to do the introduction and then I was going to take it from there. So I'm not sure how that is going to work.
Do you want us to go back to her? It seems like she's back, and let's try and see if we can. Dr. Avela, can you try once more? Please unmute.
Okay. Can you hear me?
It seems like it's still breaking. I don't know if just go on. Just let's hear a little bit more.
As I was saying, is that I wanted to take back where the girl child need to be motivated in terms of understanding and doing the STEM. So the basic awareness, I think it goes back to the primary school, whereby now the teachers need to love and also encourage the young ones to do STEM. Dr. Potter, can you hear me?
I would like to advise you, can you use the earphones instead of the laptop mic? Just earphones.
Okay.
I would suggest earphones instead of the laptop mic.
Mache, how is audio there for recording purposes? Can she continue, Avela? Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Dr. Avela, then continue, Doc. Thanks, Machi. Thank you. Continue, Dr. Avela. Sorry about that. I know what it means. You are ready to give a talk, and then there are these distractions. Sorry about that, my sister, but try again. Just continue now and do whatever you prefer to do. Dr. Majavu?
No.
Yeah, go ahead, my sister.
Oh, okay. No, I think that the awareness of STEM, I think basically it goes back to the love of the teacher preparing the girl child or anyone who loves science in terms of like now, they need to prepare them in the primary school. So if we miss that opportunity being prepared in the primary school, and then we end up like losing it, we end up like not being motivated. So one of the things that I've picked up in the villages, most especially the village where I come from, is that there are no laboratories, there is no electricity, whereby a girl child or anyone who wants to do science can be motivated, because now we need to do some practical work. So now it goes back to the primary teacher saying that now, how do I make sure that I stimulate the scholars in order for them to understand the concept? So for me, it goes back saying that be creative as the primary teacher, or for example, now we are more like having all of us having the smartphones, or we can download the experimental work, and we can download all the nicest things like about physics and everything, so that we can motivate and activate them in the sense that they can be able to run and also be able to understand what chemistry or science is all about. Because we understand that there are no like science exposure at the villages where a girl child or maybe any other person that who loves science to go and explore and also have a background. Because I've experienced this when I was being in the ESCOM Expo, whereby you will just see from the presentation of the work that there was no guidance, there was no coaching in terms of understanding the concept. They do have the concept, but in terms of addressing it and putting it out there, there was no like guidance. In terms of the schools that have the privilege, for them to privilege, that they have also the mentors, the coaches, that they be able to understand the concept, they make it clear. So for me, that's on its own, you go to the university. When now we are being exposed now in terms of like, you have to understand the science language, of which now the science language become very crucial and very critical for you to understand it. And at that stage, you are saying that when I was in high school, we used to be taught the science in Xhosa. And then now all of a sudden I found myself, you have to do the science in English. And then that English is not the English that you will actually pick it up quickly. It's the English that you have to train yourself, being the scientist, to be doing the scientific work in terms of like the language now on its own. So the language becomes the barrier. So I will say that those are the disadvantages that has made us to draw back, because when you go back and say that, okay, I can't understand it, what do I do? You draw back because there's no one who's gonna coach you and mentor you. So I come as the now say that we have faced these challenges as the young girls and as the young women. What is it that we need to do? So there was the organization that we formed as the Black Women in Science, of which we have identified those things. That how about now we say that you are in the tertiary university, at least let us capture you and retain you, so that you can go back to where you are, where you at, and then so that you can be able to say that this is what I've learned about the science or about the STEM on its own. So because there are different platforms of which you can expose yourself, not about only the science. There is for example, you can go in the women in energy, in women in science and engineering. You can go in women in engineering. You can go in women in tech. So we divide ourselves, but I'm gonna dwell more much on the science part of it, because that's the one I understand it mostly. That we had a program, we had challenge. Then we came as now saying that we are going to be the sisterhood. How can we say that a girl child can stay in the STEM? So what we did is that now we want to give them the opportunity to say that we want to have the workshops for them, so that you can be able to be the scientists, to be able to understand and with the mindset of saying, I'm a scientist. But we didn't stop there. So that now you are a scientist, but now you are innovative. You produce so many wonderful things that can help also the community. So how do you now cooperate the scientist and be the business entrepreneur? So we have to create a platform whereby now we've been taught as a scientist to be the business entrepreneur for scientists. So that one as well, say that now you are being able to be equipped. But when they equip you, say that now you have to go out there and also present the work to the people that don't know anything about science. We need to engage now in terms of like, how do we make sure that you understand the science communication? Because now you're going to be taking whatever that you're doing and present it to the ordinary people. So that's how the Black Women in Science comes in and say that, how can we help you? And also now you're going to have those projects that you want to invest more on them. You want to make sure that they are the sustainable project. So those sustainable projects, you know that you want to take them back to the community. But how do you do that if you don't understand the language of the people if you don't meet the people with the language, because you only know the language of science. So those are the things that we make sure that we want to retain and keep the women in STEM. And also now we measure ourselves in terms of like understanding what the Department of Science and Innovation was their decade down. So we went all the way and said that, how do they want us to assist as well? Because we cannot leave it only to the government. They said that, no, we are following the ESG, which is the environmental, which is the social, and also the governance. So now we have to be in an open-minded of saying that in the social, how do we assist and help in terms of the social? Then we say that, okay, let's mentor these girls, let's mentor them in the sense that when they go out there, they are very much equipped with what we say that now we want to retain them, basically. That's what we want to do. And say that go back to your village and give them back what you have learned from the Black Women in Science. So we came, as the sister would say, that how do we make sure that a girl child is being reached out and also be retained in order for the girl child to proceed with being in the STEM environment. Let me just stop there for now.
Wow, thank you. Thanks, Dr. Majavu. Thank you very much, my sister. We will definitely come back to some of the nuggets that you shared today. So let's get to Dr. Zikhona, and then we'll then have a discussion after that. Over to you, Sis Zikhona.
Thank you so much, Prof. Sorry, I was muted. I wanted to find out, am I able to share my screen?
Yes, you can do that, my sister, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much. And I really appreciate this opportunity. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us today. So as Prof. Mazwe has said, today we are going to be touching a little bit on the women in STEM. And we do know that we are in the Women's Month, which is the August month, but our talk today is really focusing on the women in STEM. What are some of the challenges that we are currently facing? What are some of the things and strategies that we can try and implement so that we ensure that the girl children, they also are interested in the STEM careers? So my name is Zikhona, and I'm an academic and a researcher at the Nelson Mandela University, and I'm also a founder of an NPO, which is Dr. ZTN Foundation. And I'm also a CEO of Aluna Smart Waste Solutions, which is a waste management and recycling company. So in today's agenda, what I really want us to focus on is I want us to focus on some of the challenges that we currently face as the women in STEM, and what are some of the reasons why we basically have a few number of women that are very interested in STEM. And when I talk about women, I also include the girl child. And what are some of the strategies that we can use to influence and to change the policies plus the practices to be able to increase the access to the opportunities in the STEM careers for our girl children as well as our women. And lastly, I'm also going to just share some words of encouragement and some social media nuggets as well on how a girl child can actually be able to position themselves in order for them to grab those opportunities that are available in the STEM industry. So it's going to sound as if we are talking about the same thing with Dr. Avela when we talk about some of the challenges, but I thought I should highlight these challenges that, I thought I should highlight some of the challenges that we are currently facing as women and girls in the STEM industry. So one of those challenges is the societal and the cultural attitudes and the beliefs. I mean, if you are born and bred in the villages or in the rural areas, you do know that there are certain beliefs and certain attitudes that are actually imposed on a girl child from a young age. And those beliefs and societal attitudes, they basically do pose some challenges for your girl child, and which basically makes them to not want to take part in STEM industry or STEM careers. And one of those things in those attitudes and beliefs, you would actually find that a STEM career is normally I would say is normally highlighted a lot when you are speaking about boy children, because they are the ones that actually are excelling a lot in mathematics and in physics and in technology and all the other STEM careers. But now all those things and all those beliefs and all those attitudes, they basically have a negative effect on our aspirations as women in STEM. And also when we do our self-assessment as the girl child who are passionate about STEM, we actually find that we do not have any place in society to pursue these careers in STEM. And some of the challenges, they also take us back to this first point, which is this first challenge that I've highlighted, which is on the cultural attitudes and beliefs. So we do know that most of our girls, or rather women, they have multiple roles, both in society and in their homes. And most of these roles, they basically lead to sometimes reproductive health challenges, where you find that a girl child experiences teenage pregnancy, which therefore also hinders on the self-assessment and the aspiration to take part in the STEM careers. And we do know that some of these roles that are expected from a girl child or from a woman in our societies is the fact that the woman or the girl child is expected to take care of the family. Therefore, by doing some cooking, cleaning in the house, fetching wood and all those things, just ensuring that the family is taken care of. And you would also agree with me that that takes a lot of time, and it also deviates one from their own aspirations, which also touches base on the first point, which is on the cultural attitudes and beliefs. And as Dr. Avela has also said, that we lack a lot of role models and mentors. And remember, I'm speaking from a perspective of the higher education institutions because I work in the university. So therefore, when I talk about the lack of role models and mentors, I speak about the higher education institutions a lot. And if I were to draw back to my own experiences, and I would be able to say that in my department, and in my field of physical chemistry, I am the only South African Black female that is teaching physical chemistry and material science at Nelson Mandela University, which basically tells you that if there is a girl child that really wants to enroll for a STEM career, especially in the field of material science and physical chemistry, therefore that means they do not have role models and mentors, and they only have me to look up to. So those are just some of the challenges that we are facing as women in STEM, or the girl children in STEM. And some of the challenges, they also include the enabling environment, which includes sexual violence and harassment. and lack of motivation. And as Dr. Avela has already said, that this basically, the lack of motivation, it starts from a young age, where our teachers and our parents do not really encourage women to take part in STEM careers. So these are just some of the challenges that I have highlighted that we are currently facing as women or girls in STEM. And what are some of the strategies that we can try and propose in order for us to be able to influence and change policies plus practices in order for us to be able to increase the access to opportunities in STEMs for our girls and women? So as Dr. Avela also has said, we need to start early. That is, we need to start this culture from home, in our preschool, in our primary, and in our secondary and tertiary school levels, where we basically have to make sure that we mentor our kids so that they fall in love with our STEM careers from a young age. And by doing so, we also need to try and nourish as well as praise the efforts of our small girl child from a young age to ensure that they really fall in love with the STEM careers. And also we need to educate and popularize the STEM, and we need to make it attractive. And I'm sure if you guys are on Twitter, you do know that we do have the FAB academic, who is Professor Pakeng, who has been trending for the hashtag making education attractive or making education fashionable. So these are just some of the ways in which we can educate and popularize the STEM careers to make it attractive to the girl children and to the women that are aspiring to take part in the STEM careers. And also, as I did mention, that I'm going to be drawing a lot on the higher education institutions a lot. So one of the major things that I actually feel that the higher education institutions can actually do is to recruit as well as retain a lot of women that are in the STEM faculties and departments, so that our young girls can be able to see and have role models, positive role models and mentors in their STEM careers when they get to the higher education institutions. And also when it comes to the government, I feel that we are still lacking when it comes to the legislation, even though our Department of Science and Technology has been doing a lot of work in terms of sharing a lot of policies and sharing a lot of opportunities on education training, a lot of opportunities on hiring, and also some STEM programs that they normally take to our rural areas so that they can ignite that passion of our girl children from a young age so that they can fall in love with the STEM careers. So the government is doing a lot of work in that space. And as a family and the society and individuals, we also need to show our commitment to STEM, and we also need to encourage our children, our girl children from a very young age. And also as the society, we need to ensure that our girl children, they are protected at all times so that they do not have to be subjected to those home activities where they have to cook and the boy child does not do anything. And then also try and encourage our kids to also give out their best so that they can concentrate on their STEM careers. And we also need to be able to expose our kids or our girl children to STEM educational activities, that is, take them to our open days. You do know that if in your vicinity there's an open day, either in the library, either in the community hall or wherever, make sure that your girl child goes to that open day or science fair or any competition. And our teachers and our schools, they also need to make sure that they expose our girl children to these STEM educational activities. And as Dr. Avela has also spoke about and alluded to the fact of the importance of the career guidance and counseling, as well as mentorship, all those things, they're extremely important for our girl children so that they are interested in the STEM careers. And I do know that currently there are some of those mentorship programs, and you would find that there is a Take a Girl Child to Work, and there is also a BWIS, which is Black Women in Science, which was founded by the late Ndoni Mchunu. So those are just some of the mentorship programs that we can expose our girl children to. And also what we need to try and do is in our local libraries, we need to have STEM career books and biographies of our African women scientists, so that if we are speaking about the mentorship and the counseling, as well as ensuring that the girl child is interested in the STEM careers, they need to be able to see those role models, they need to read about them, they need to be exposed to them at all times. And again, I just want to encourage parents as well as teachers to be able to ensure that the girl children have got access to social media. Social media is an excellent tool, and it can help a whole lot of girl children to have access to a lot of opportunities, especially in STEM, but now they need to be able to use that social media wisely. And I've just listed some of the do's and the don'ts for our girls if they want to follow some of their mentors, or rather their role models. And what are some of the don'ts is that they do not have to share negative comments, uploading inappropriate pictures, and just some words of encouragement. As I did mention, we are somewhere there. So one of the things that we can do also as the society, as parents, as teachers, is to spend time cultivating our professional brands, and especially online, and also encouraging our girl children to also cultivate their love and their brands as well, so that they can take part in these STEM careers. And they must not be afraid to build, and they must be able to use their networks, and they must have positive attitude and outlook, and they need to believe in themselves. And the most important thing is that they need to understand that their studies alone, they are not enough. They might need additional training or experience. So they must grab each and every opportunity that is going to assist them. And in closing, they can also follow my NPO social media on all social media platforms. And in our NPO, we basically assist a lot of our girl children, but not necessarily in STEM, but girl children from the rural areas with life skills, youth empowerment, career development, guidance, mentorship, and a whole lot of other things, and where we share a lot of opportunities. Thank you so much. And those are my details. And we can all change, and we can break all the ceilings as women in STEM and girls in STEM. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Thank you very much, Doc. Indeed, this week we are breaking the glass ceiling. So we have started breaking the glass ceiling already. Thank you so much to both of you, Dr. Majavu and Dr. Zikhona. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, let us now engage the speakers and ourselves on this area. They've really shared with us some challenges, strategies, and opportunities, which is very, very important, especially those who still have small children who can still start at a very, very early age. But obviously, those who don't have will always have children, whether they're your children, your grandchildren. So some of us, we are talking about our grandchildren now, that we have to really make sure that we push them. But yeah, really, thank you so much for sharing this. So let's just hear what the colleagues are saying there. Dr. Tracy Masibe there. Good evening. Thank you for your warm welcome. And then I see Dr. Bongani Nkala, my leader. Do you want to share something there? I see that you've written something on the chat room. Anything there, leadership?
Thanks, Prof. Thanks once again for a wonderful talk. I hope I'm audible. Dr. Zikhona, Dr. Avela, well, that's a great presentation. Thanks a lot for those insights. I think one of the issues that we've observed, especially in rural areas, is the lack of role models. So with respect to science-based, so people have no idea, or they cannot identify themselves with people that they can see them within our vicinity. I was just wondering, the sisterhood and your NPO, Dr. Zikhona, what it is that it does to make sure that sort of it provides, or it sort of exposes those learners to the role models. Especially because when you look at the role models, it's always awesome to see people that they understand in terms of the background, social dynamics where you're coming from. Thanks, Prof.
Thanks, Doc. Thank you very much. Would you like to take that one, Dr.? We'll start with anyone can do it really, but let's start with Dr. Majavu and then we'll go to Dr. Zikhona. Dr. Avela, any thoughts there?
Yes, Prof. I will say on my side, that's why I say that as a Black women in science, we want to retain them while they are in the university. Because our aim is to say that whoever that is in the university, you are coming from somewhere. You are coming from the rural area. So how do we give you the skills in the Black women in science of saying that now, as we want to mentor you, want to say when you go back home, because you are the one who's gonna be easy to reach out. When you go back home, you can be able to mentor, and also we equip you in order for you to go and mentor the girls which is in the village, so that we can be able also to assist you there. So what we are saying that is that let's recruit as many as we want as we can. For now, we are more based on in Joburg and KZN. So now we are spreading our wings to say that how about we have our society in all the university that will come from the Black women in science, of saying that now we know that in Limpopo we do have people that we have already mentored that are here in Joburg, but at Wits, for example, are here at Wits where I mentored them. So when you go back home, you can be able to say that, you know what, spread the word, be the brand of the Black women in science, so that we can be able, because I cannot reach someone maybe from Limpopo, whereas I'm from Eastern Cape. Even in Eastern Cape, Eastern Cape is large. So we can be able to say that I'm mentoring also the people from Port Elizabeth, so that it can be, when we spread those wings, we know that at least we have touched based on the people that now on the girls that are in the university. At first now we're targeting the girls that are in the university and also mentor them, so that let's go out there. I think that's where we started as a Black women in science.
Thanks, Doc. Thank you very much. Dr. Zikhona.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Nkala, for that question. So with our foundation, remember I did mention that we are not only focusing on STEM careers. We are basically just focusing on all the youth from disadvantaged backgrounds, that is from rural areas. And as Dr. Avela has just said, we also try and mentor our own group. And from our own group, we have a cohort that we know that they are going to go back to their respective communities, and then they are going to continue with the mentoring, even if we are not there. But we try by all means, and we reach out to a lot of this youth, and this is via our social media platforms. And one of the things that we do is we pair our mentees with their respective mentors from their respective chosen career paths. So as for an example, if let's say we've got a student that has enrolled for an LLB, I mean, I'm a scientist and I would not know what are some of the challenges that that particular student is currently facing in that LLB chosen career. So therefore, that means I would find a mentor who I know is already successful in LLB and who has got time to volunteer his or her services to be able to mentor that child. And therefore that child will also be able to go back to their own villages or rural areas, and then they are going to assist the next other girl children that actually need help with mentoring and coaching.
Thank you. Thanks very much, dear doctors there. Thank you. And see, there's some hands. I will take Dr. Chuma Mangisa and will be followed by Dr. Tracy Masebe in that order, please. Dr. Mangisa.
Yes, thank you very much, Prof. Majola, and thank you also to the esteemed doctors, who have given us insightful presentations. What I want to check with both of them, and I'm happy that I am speaking to academics here. Having listened to them in as far as the mentoring and coaching is concerned, but precisely, my question is, from where they are, two different universities, are the programs, in the varsities, where the varsity goes, to the communities, that we serve. And, that's where, they can meet the girls that we are targeting through STEM, so that at the end of the day, we get these girls that are motivated to come into tertiary institutions and begin to pursue, their interest in the field of STEM. Have universities gone to the public, gone to schools, to inculcate, to inspire, these young girls to enroll, to be part of the STEM as a field? Thank you, Prof.
Thank you. Thanks, Doc. Dr. Tracy?
Thank you, Prof. Good evening, everyone. I should really say I'm humbled, to be part of this gathering today. Prof. Mazwe has always been inviting me for several leadership meetings, but I think today, because it's Women's Month, I just saw that, the lineup is women and women in academia. I'm definitely going to drop everything and join this one. Basically because I'm an academic, and then also, I saw that what the two doctors that presented are really doing something that is very close to my heart. I think it's really time, as women, to sort of go out there and speak to our girls and motivate them. We really need an educated society, and education is not only by having a university degree, really, but it starts from down there when they are still young, to nurture them. It's all about talking about education, talking about social life, talking about well-being. It cuts across a lot of issues, that really, when combined, builds up a person. So I think most of the questions that I had, the previous colleagues who have raised their hands, they've really asked those questions and you've addressed them. But I just wanted to say I'm really humbled to be in this space, and would actually really go to your websites to actually see what you're doing, because I also have, like in the secondary school where I attended long time ago, we have this group of patrons who actually go there each and every year to motivate our learners. But the unfortunate part is, how do we reach out to them? Is what we're doing having an impact? Because it's more onto motivations, more onto career guidance, but it's not really specific, or to touch base on issues that are of concern. Although we do have like a team which really goes deep into looking into issues within teachers, learners, and so on. But this one, I think, just to build up our society, our upcoming mothers, our upcoming leaders of this world, I think this is really relevant, and I'm really honored to be here. Thank you so much. And the issues that you address, I think they are really relevant. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, my sister. Thanks, Dr. Tracy. We are glad that you managed to join us tonight. Thank you so much. We always say that these platforms are very contagious. Once you attend, you'll find yourself coming back, and not that is a bad thing, it's a good thing. And then obviously, and we are community, of leaders. We are peers. Others address others. Next week will be others. We always change. I mean, we listen to each other, which is very, very lovely and very, very dynamic, because we learn from each other all the time. So I'm very glad that you made it, my sister. Thank you. Any other thoughts, ladies and gentlemen, on these challenges, on these strategies on STEM? As we can see, I think again and again is a whole emphasis that it's better to start early, that you really start early. The kids are still very young, and while they're there, but also to implant and to inculcate that passion on them, obviously, and hopeful, especially in the villages and rural areas and townships, because some of them may be, I've observed this, very good, but to find that because of not having qualified teachers, and then they find themselves obviously losing the passion because of not having good teachers in those subjects. I see Zikhona, over to you, my sister.
Thanks. Thank you, Prof. And thank you to our speakers. Unfortunately, I joined late, so I got a glimpse of Dr. Zikhona's presentation. I missed Dr. Avela. Hi, Dr. Avela. Butel Namandla.
Hi.
Hi. Yes, so my question is more from a parent's perspective. So I find that there's a difference between, those who do very well in terms of the students, those who do well in STEM subjects, and those who have a love for it but are not doing so well. So I find that in our townships, most of the time, what tends to happen is that the focus is on those who are doing well, who are excelling when it comes to STEM subjects. But there are those who have a love for it, but are struggling. And if they are struggling too much, you find that they get advised to rather change subject or go for lighter like Maths Lit, etc. What is being done? I'm not sure if I missed it maybe in some of the presentation, but is there a way to either, I don't know whether the teachers are being equipped to also pull those who are actually struggling but have a love for it? Because I find some kids, when they are forced to change subjects because they are not managing when it comes to maths and science, they then lose the passion for any of their studies, so they lose focus. So what help is available in that context?
Thanks very much, Zikhona. We'll start with Dr. Zikhona this time around, and then should be followed by Dr. Avela. Dr. Zikhona?
Thank you so much, Prof. And thank you so much, Zikhona, for that question. I do know that universities have put on some strategies to try and assist those learners that are passionate about the STEM subjects, but they are struggling. And they do this by having career fairs. They do this by, I do know that we also do go to a lot of schools from the rural areas as a faculty, where we go and we showcase some of the like simple experiments so that we can try and assist them, and with a lot of spark, so that they are able to ignite that spark that they've actually lost, or rather, if maybe they were discouraged by someone along the way, then we are there to motivate and say, look, I was a student that actually got 29%. We would even have different speakers, and someone maybe who is already enrolled for an MSc who would start by saying, I failed my mathematics 1 when I got to university, or I was doing Maths Lit, but then I decided to enroll for this. So we always have those sessions just to try and assist. And again, another important thing is to note that sometimes our hands are a bit tight. We can only do so much. And maybe what we can also try and do, and through our organizations, is to really dig deep and work with these high schools so that we can be able to go back and have a lot of people that are already successful in these STEM careers who are going to be offering things like winter schools, Saturday classes, spring classes or whatever you call it, so that we can be able to bring even those kids that have already fallen out of that wagon to go back and fall in love with the STEM careers and subjects that they are struggling in.
Thanks, Doc. Over to you, Dr. Avela.
Oh, thank you so much, Prof. Thank you for your question, Hlengiwe. I think I'm just gonna be kind of repeating what Dr. Zikhona just said. That on my side, when we were doing the science, I would say the STEM, basically the STEM. I was not in the class whereby I was a very good student, but giving an extra time to understand the math and science, it was for the love of the subject, because of the teacher had that love as well. So it made me to have a courage of saying that the teacher is willing to go extra mile to allow us to sit, say that let's have extra classes whereby I make you sure that you understand the subject. So that's why I always say it basically it goes back to the teachers of saying that have the love of the subject and identify, because in class we're not all of us we're getting A's, but they were, because the teacher saw that you have passionate, you love this subject, and they give you an extra time. So I always go back to the teacher and say that please identify, because we will see some that they are passionate about the science, but they can't make it. Before you can even actually say that no, change, go to the commerce, of which now no, I love science, but I cannot do more. But now because of the teacher now is taking you step by step, and then you'll be able to understand the science. And then going back to Dr. Tuma, that for me, I would say, Dr. Tuma, I'm not in the academic. I've moved to the industry. So what I do with the Black women in science, I do it with my time of saying that now the only place that I can capture the women in STEM is the university. So that's when now I focus that on my time over the weekend, say that let's build up, let's identify the challenges. So I cannot say that no, I can go back to the university and find out what is it that they are doing out there. But as a Black women in science, this is what we also always advise, that come and join us. Let's train you on the Black women in science. I don't know much what they are doing in the university, but for me, we just captured those that are already in the university and say that we want you to go back to the village where you were born, and say that now I'm gonna expand and I'm gonna help and motivate and mentor and coach the girls to love the science.
Thank you very much, doctors. Thank you. Last week we had another panelist. I'm very happy to see that Professor Nkomo is with us tonight, because she was our speaker last week. She left us with a very important question, a question that is taken from the book by Samuel Archand, which says, who is holding your ladder? Or who is holding your ladder, or whose ladder are you holding? That question was very, very important. And I even thought that it's a phrase, that it's a concept and phrase that we will adopt here at Wild, where we'll always remind each other when we meet that whose ladder are you holding? And also, who's holding yours, because that is very, very important. We can't go up there alone. Let us face it, we can't be there. I mean, and then those who said, no, I was here alone, no, they are not being truthful. So there were those who were holding, but what happened when we are up there? So I'm very happy that the doctors are speaking about mentorship, about guidance, because look where they are. But the point is that they're still taking time to go back and to assist. And then we are going to all really try to find one another and see what support we can give to each other. I see a hand there from my leader, Dr. Potela. Over to you, leadership.
Good evening, Prof. Majola. And I would like to acknowledge the presentation given by my colleagues Dr. Majavu and Dr. Zikhona. I will be general, Prof, reflecting to the society in the academic, in general, in the basic education, where perhaps we are missing the point. Doctors are presenting in a good way, but at the upper level. And indeed, Dr. Zikhona as well as Dr. Majavu addressing a good point of a girl child from rural areas. But based on my experience, worked before I worked in the higher institution, worked at the basic education, I found the problem lies on where the teacher excelled in high school and got promoted to become a special teacher as a subject advisor in a district or in a second level. When they reach to the district level, they become comfortable. And they're no longer active for extra classes and innovative enough to host Science Week that we used to understand in our villages. I can say our small towns and villages, Prof, because this Science Week, in particular at Eastern Cape, they are hosted in cities of white domination, like Grahamstown Science Week. You never found perhaps Mpumala in Bombeni in terms of Mpumala, or we found it Endane Science Week, where the national focus perhaps can reach to the ground of the deeper rural areas. So my point is that I so wish there can be integration or collaboration between basic education and higher education, more especially the scientists as presented by my colleagues, because I know they are one of the few Africans in the space of science. But they can't get the reach because those experts, passionate with science, are promoted in a position of a district officers, where they got perhaps frustrated and they no longer deliver it. Today, Prof, our teachers are teachers without passion because they enroll themselves with public education certificate in education. You did your BSc with not a calling of become an educator with passion of teaching. Teaching does have its own method. That method goes with a calling. Now that we have a high level of unemployment, in the high employment level, now the young leaders tend to enroll themselves with PGCE to become teachers for the point of employment. Now we're losing to invest in a science and losing to invest in mentoring. We have got teachers who are not mentors. We've got teachers who are not parents. We've got teachers who does not have callings. So I will say this is our role in an academic of a high institution to integrate and gel with the basic education to see to it that they are delivering in their lower part, not to promote you, rather compensate an expert in the field of the institution, rather to promote to a district level, whereby the person now should develop the policies that policies are not implemented. On that note, Prof, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Doc. Thank you so much, definitely. Well put there. Thanks a lot. I think we will be about to give our panelists time to give us their closing remarks, but I really like to, I have acknowledged all of you, but a special acknowledgement to my sister there, Dr. Mvusi Songelwa. It's our colleague, but she is dialing in from USA, where she's based at the moment at the University of Connecticut. So really just to thank her to be with us, to remember home, wherever. Doc, do you want to say anything there just to greet us all the way from the... Unmute there, Doc.
Thank you very much, colleagues. Thank you very much, Prof, for the acknowledgement. I'm just taking a break to see how South Africa looks from this end. And yes, I don't forget to actually connect. These are very, very exciting times. I was actually looking at, in fact, listening to the colleagues, and just they were taking me back when I was a BSc student at UNITRA. And I was interested to know what motivated them to actually get to where they are. Because one of the things at the time, I'm sure now people speak more English. When I passed my BSc, I could hardly finish a sentence because all I did was ukungaya, you know, at the time, because I could never understand what photosynthesis means in my own language, you know. And my thesis for B.Ed was really the second language learning, because I really felt we were even disempowered at the time by learning concepts we couldn't understand. Velocity is actually examples that we are using is aeroplanes that I've never been, but we continued. So that the whole intrinsic motivation for me is one of the things that I'm really kind of interested in. But yes, thank you very much to colleagues. Yes, I'll come back, definitely. Thank you. I would appreciate to know why the two colleagues had to be where they are now.
Thank you. Thanks, Dr. Songelo. Thanks, my sister. Appreciate you. I'll ask my panelists as they respond to that question, but also to give us their parting shots. We will start with Dr. Avela, and then should be followed by Dr. Zikhona, just to respond to Dr. Songelo's question, but also just to give us your closing remarks, please. Over to you, Dr. Avela.
Okay, thank you so much, Doc. Yeah, I think we were in the, I think we said in the same boat, because for me to even to understand, to make a word, and I think I've managed when I was doing my PhD. I struggled with English, I struggled, so I had to make sure that I give it all, I give an extra time. So for me, I had the book whereby I will write the notes in English and then I'll translate it. So I'll just do double work, basically, because I couldn't understand. Even sometimes I will write the English name with a Xhosa like version of mine. So it's really a struggle. That's why I was saying that now you don't understand the English, and there's this scientific language that you have to understand. So now you become very frustrated at the end of the day. But as you go and say that now, you know what, I'm not gonna quit school, I'm not gonna allow this to determine my end of my success. So I also had to read. That's the only thing that helped me. Okay, on my closing remark, and then I always like to say, as me personally, I want to be the voice of the voiceless in terms of being like, go out there and also encourage people to more especially the girls to do STEM. And also I'm the person that always like raise your hand if there's any opportunity, or you see something that you are passionate about, and also go up and shine and say that, yeah, I'm taking it. I want to spread the wings to other people, and also make the science fashionable. Show the young girls that this is doable. This STEM is very difficult, but here I am. I'm coming from the village that I have PhD. I was struggling like you guys, but make it fashionable, make it like something that's doable, and spread the knowledge and skills to those ones who are coming like behind you, and also make sure that you share the knowledge and learn from the others as well, and then be an innovator. So that's why I always say that I have to maintain the law of value. Give. So that's what I do with my spare time. I give it all to the women in STEM because I'm passionate what I'm doing. So that's why I end up like joining the Black Women in Science and say that here I am. Use me as still like being available, so that I can be able to say that I've done something to the community. I've done something for South Africa and also beyond South Africa. So this is me saying that I use me as a woman in STEM, and then I can be able to go and preach that word. Thank you.
Thanks, Doc. Thank you very much, Dr. Zikhona.
Thank you so much, Prof, and thank you so much, Dr. Songelo. My story is actually a funny one, because if I were to describe my journey, I think I would say that the STEM actually found me and not the other way around. I mean, I had no prospect of even reaching the PhD level in STEM careers. But then, as they always say, that some things, they actually happen and they are beyond our own control. But one of the major things that I have done ever since I joined the higher education space, even when I was doing my first year, is I immersed myself in a whole lot of things, in a whole lot of activities to try and, just balance where I was lacking. I knew what were some of the things where I was lacking from, and coming from the rural area. And one of those things was public speaking. So that means I had to join the society that dealt with public speaking, that dealt with debates when I got to university, because I was very curious and I wanted to learn more. I joined the Toastmasters because I wanted to improve on a whole lot of things. And I knew that in order for me to make it, I would have to immerse myself in a whole lot of things and activities that are available on campus, so that I can be able to grow as an individual as well as a scientist. And I've also been part of a whole lot of these science engagement activities that were happening, including, there's quite a lot. The science fairs, I used to just grab each and every opportunity that came my way. And wherever I went, I ensured that I immerse myself so that I can be able to learn as much as I can. And I found myself a lot of role models, and even though some were not even in the STEM careers, but just women in academia that I was looking up to. And for me, that also assisted me, because they held my hand and they showed me the ropes. So my concluding remarks would be, as a woman in STEM and as a woman in academia, I am extremely excited to be able to share the wisdom, the knowledge, as well as the advices based on my own experiences in the STEM industry. And also, I want to be able to assist, build the young women's confidence and self-esteem, because I feel that is extremely important. You are not going to be able to excel in STEM if you do not believe in yourself and if you do not have confidence. So I also just want to share a little bit on when we talk about all these initiatives that we actually have, it means that we are already doing something and trying to reach out to the young girls that are in the rural areas. So we are being the voice of the voiceless indeed. And so I would say that we must really, really encourage our young girls to reach out to their mentors and role models, because sometimes you need to also try and grab the opportunities as a young girl that is interested in taking up a STEM career. So thank you so much for this opportunity. It was absolutely a pleasure to be part of this platform.
Wow, thank you. Thanks, Doc. Thank you very much. And we're so glad that we've got my brother there, Dr. Sibong Seni Ngolozen, who has just launched a book that deals with public speaking. Oh, I've got it here, speech checklist. We launched that book in Midrand, and it will be a big launch, will take place in Pretoria end of the month. So he's a Toastmasters guy as well. So to speak up on that, you're speaking to him. And really, we're talking about this, the importance of learning public speaking, because it's something that is learnable. You can have all sorts of credentials, but when you find that you have to deliver a talk and then you don't have the ways of how to do it. So when we talked about Toastmasters and public speaking, and then I thought about him, and he's with us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for this wonderful session. And I would really like to thank our doctors, Dr. Avela and Dr. Zikhona. And I think it's a topic that we must revisit again and again and again, because it's a very, very important topic. And obviously, most of us who have our own foundations, it's something that we really need to pull resources together and expertise together and penetrate and go to those villages and those areas that we know they're still struggling with this era. So We must work together and collaborate. And thank you so much for empowering us about the challenges, opportunities, strategies that are in this era in the STEM. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. And to everyone who joined us tonight, thank you so much. And I hope to see all of you tomorrow in our conferences. I'm saying that I know most of you will be meeting in person. And most of you haven't even met in person because of this Zoom, you know. A person like Andre Young, at least I know him 20 years ago when we were still at BMF, and others, obviously, that I know. But some of you, because we've known so much of each other via virtually. So it's an opportunity that we can meet in Midrand tomorrow and or Friday. But to those, for whatever reason, we are unable to be there physically, you can join us again. You can join us virtually. Thank you very much. We'll meet again Wednesdays. We always meet at Wednesdays at 6 p.m. And do subscribe to our YouTube channel, Prof. Mazwe Majola, so that you can get this, this material and these videos. And then you can also just check all others as well that we've done before. Thank you so much. This session is adjourned now. May God bless you. And then we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. And goodbye.